Hello once again, and welcome to another CES MMA Watch Party. I'm Adam Palazzo. Tonight, we take a look at the history of the CES MMA Welterweight Championship. October 10th, 2014, CES MMA 26. We crowned our first champion in the 170-pound division, featuring former Ultimate Fighter star and fan favorite Cold Steel, Chuck O'Neal, fighting four-time UFC veteran, Brazilian-born Ricardo Golden Boy Funch.
We're live cage side at Twin River Casino. It's the main event of CES MMA 26 for the vacant CES MMA Welterweight Title. Chuck O'Neal in the black trunks with the red trim, taking on Ricardo Funch with the white and red. Two UFC vets got locking horns tonight. You couldn't find two better candidates for this welterweight title.
No, both fighters definitely have a pedigree for it. It's you came to the cage tonight to get the crown. I've got to be honest with you, I'm not quite sure. It looked right off the bat like there was an accidental headbutt. That's what I was stuttering over. I wasn't sure if Chuck was the recipient of it.
We'll find out who got the worst end of that exchange if and when they separate here. But you're right, they did appear to clash heads on the way in as Funch shot in to push O'Neal back to the cage.
I was trying to get a good look at Chuck's eyes to see if it had any effect on him, but I don't think so.
Doesn't seem like any noticeable damage thus far.
Ricardo with a nice takedown.
Funch is a four-time UFC vet. Actually had two stints with the UFC. He came back due to injury in his second stint. Did not win any of the four fights in which he participated, was ultimately released from the promotion, and has not fought since June of 2012, so it's been a bit of a layoff for him. But of course, remaining active with Team Link, training nonstop, getting ready for this bout. Chuck O'Neal coming off back-to-back wins, defeating Roger Carroll and Chris Woodall, both under the CES MMA banner. And now it's coming off that tough loss to Yield to Freitas, which he got dominated. De Freitas with an electrifying knockout win in that bout. It seemed like O'Neal was headed in the wrong direction, but he gets those back-to-back wins and now has the opportunity to fight tonight here for a title at Twin River Casino.
You can see Ricardo definitely taking his time, not rushing anything.
O'Neal, of course, also a UFC vet, competed on the Ultimate Fighter reality series.
Right, he's a tough alum.
Showcased himself well in the finale of that series, of that season.
He shot he did very well. He represented himself very well. Ricardo doing a good job trying to free up the leg trying to pass from half.
Now, we mentioned Funch hadn't fought.
And right off the bat,
that's a nice job.
Yeah, that's it. Chuck's looking for that ankle right now. Looks like for that. Oh, we got to stop right there.
Yeah.
That was a.
Funch dug that heel into the back, right into the spine of Chuck O'Neal.
You can see the look on Chuck's face. It was unintentional, but absolutely.
Scott, even though it's unintentional, it doesn't go against O'Neal. This could turn the tide of the fight. This could be something very difficult to recover from.
Yeah, Chuck was going for a heel hook right there, and he was definitely working it.
Similar to a low blow, he will get as much time as needed, or at least, up to 5 minutes?
Actually, he doesn't. He doesn't get 5.
No, okay.
This is a ref's discretion, but you can see he was going for that heel hook, and Ricardo to the spine. He could be deducted a point.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he was trying to do there. I mean, he could clearly see where he was aiming, however long the fight does last. So we are ready to resume action here in this CES MMA welterweight title bout. It's our main event here, and O'Neal comes firing out of the clinch. Series of rights and lefts. Funch gets him back to the cage again.
Nice short elbow by O'Neal.
So an interesting start to our title bout, to say the least. Ricardo Funch deducted a point for an illegal blow to the spine. And so now if you're O'Neal, you really want to go to work here and get this round, because now you have a 2-point edge in a 5-round bout. That could be a huge swing. And Funch, of course, obviously wants the round on his end to at least even it going in round 2. So
if Funch could make this a 9-9 round.
Right, so to speak, no harm, no foul. 1 minute to go in the first of this 5-round title bout.
But up until this point, you know, Chuck was working right up until this a submission. He was attacking a submission.
It's tough, too, with the breaks in action to see how the judges are going to score this as well. And it you know, depends on how they had it going into that foul and now how they're going to score these final 90 seconds here.
Nice elbow by Funch that I believe just missed. Funch is looking for the takedown.
And you can certainly make a case outside of that heel hook attempt by Chuck O'Neal that this was Ricardo Funch's round. He had pretty decent
6'5"
control.
pick 'em, you know,
Yeah.
6'5" pick 'em, depending on your perspective.
Decent control on the ground up until that point where O'Neal reversed it and then locked in the heel hook. So, again, it depends on...
The opposite can be said is that it was even until the heel.
Right, exactly.
You know,
so maybe that heel hook attempt does push O'Neal over the top. So it'll be interesting as the fight progresses, if this does, in fact, go 5 rounds, to see how that plays out. That's the end of round number 1, an entertaining round number 1. Round number 2 underway in this 5-round title bout for the vacant CES MMA Welterweight Championship. Mike Parenti joined by Scott Ream live from Twin River Casino. We are cage side for CES MMA 26. Chuck O'Neal in the
nice kick to the liver by Funch.
O'Neal in the black and red trunks, taking on Ricardo Funch in the white and red. Good advice from O'Neal's corner too, Scott, between rounds, talking about not just running into Funch during those flurries, because that's kind of what happened out of the break after that injury, after that small timeout, where he had a nice flurry, backed up Funch to the cage, and then kind of ran out of room and ran into a clinch. And that's kind of what stole his momentum.
Nice takedown by Funch there.
And of course, just to get you up to speed, Ricardo Funch was deducted a point in round number 1 for an illegal blow to the spine. And we'll see how that plays out. And this is the second round of a scheduled 5 in this title bout. And again, as we mentioned prior to the start of the bout, Funch, a 4-time UFC vet, Chuck O'Neal, an alum of the Ultimate Fighter reality show.
Now this is where Ricardo will keep the fight for 5 rounds. He will stay right in this position, grapple, throw short punches. He'll be perfectly content to do this for 5 rounds.
It's somewhat reminiscent of what Saul Almeida does. It's less lay and pray. He's a lot more active than Almeida is.
Please, Mike, do not compare the two. In my opinion, that might be yours. And my friend, my dear friend, you are welcome to have your opinion. I'm talking more nothing similar to the two.
Well, and more the comfortability factor among the two.
In the aspect of being comfortable, there's a difference between being nice job by O'Neal throwing up a triangle, forcing Ricardo to defend. Now you can see Ricardo leaning back, and O'Neal again another triangle attempt being thrown up, transitioning here to maybe the. He's really digging deep for that triangle. He's got to pass the arm over, though. He's looking for that straight arm bar on top of it. He's got to pass the arm through. There's the arm coming around. He might have that arm bar if Ricardo doesn't come around.
Looked good for a second, Scott.
He's got to pass the arm. He's got to pass that left arm to the other side of the body for the triangle, or attack it for the arm bar. That's the arm bar. He's got it. We got a new champ, ladies and gentlemen. O'Neal off his back with a beautiful arm bar set up off the triangle. That is why it is not Saul Almeida.
Chuck O'Neal is your CES MMA welterweight champion. Big submission win over Ricardo Funch. What a turnaround.
Following his victory over Funch, O'Neal defended the title on the very next show, putting the title onto national television on Access TV against Manny Wallo, who was entering this fight on a 7-fight win streak.
City, New Jersey, ladies and gentlemen, Emmanuel wearing the blue trunks with the orange trim, weighing in at 171 pounds with a pro record of 14 wins, 6 losses, with 4 wins coming by way of knockout and 6 by submission. Fighting out of Mass BJJ, an Ultimate Fighter alum, hailing from East Bridgewater, Mass. Ladies and gentlemen, Chuck Cold Steel O'Neal. Your referee is Kevin McDonald.
Fighters to the center, please. All right, guys, this is 5 rounds under the unified rules of mixed martial arts. We went over those rules in the back. Do I have any questions, blue? Any questions, red? If not, touch gloves, come out swinging.
It is main event time for the Welterweight Championship of CES. With the closing odds, thanks to Nick Kalikas, have Chuck O'Neal the favourite at -320. The comeback on Emmanuel Wallo at +240. Michael Chavallo, Pat Miletich with you live on Access TV from the Twin River Casino in Rhode Island. Thumping right hand to open up here for...
Oh! Oh!
Good night, Irene! Just like that! O'Neal knocks out Wallo.
You mentioned the right hand earlier in the broadcast. Yeah.
Was it quickest knockout of the night? Was it quicker than the 3-second knockout we saw by Piver over Doty earlier on tonight? That was stunning. That was stunning.
Let's see
and
that
the
real time.
Welterweight Championship match.
Yeah, let's see that real time.
Flush.
Look at his legs lock out. Night-night. Oh, short-circuited the nerves there, man. Could have had his ring banner and put it on him like a blanket.
Wow.
Five months later, O'Neal would be defeated by an up-and-coming, charismatic Strikeforce and Bellator veteran in Norwood, Ohio's Dom, non-stop, action-packed Steel. With the eyes of the MMA world now looking at the CES MMA champions, the UFC came calling and signed Dom Steel, thus vacating the welterweight title. Then, at CES MMA 31, Brazil's Gil de Freitas would fight one of the best strikers in New England, Chip Maraza Pollard, to crown a new king of the 170-pound division.
So Pollard have up his sleeves. Welterweight Championship on the line. Southpaw stance, a wide one here on Maraza Pollard. Karate stance for the karateka. Goju karate background.
Freitas looks like a serial killer.
He does. Nice Mawashigeri off the back foot there. And a Yokogeri.
Smart by Pollard. Tried beating up those forearms right away. Good footwork.
Switches stance, now back to southpaw. Another cutting side kick from Maraza Pollard.
Freitas can't touch him with the kick so far.
The karate technique early. There's another Mawashigeri roundhouse. Freitas looking for the outside 5. Throws the right hand down the tube.
And before he did that, he hooked the back of his calf to slow him down so he couldn't move away from the punch. Kind of a sneaky little trick by Freitas.
Nice evasion of the right hand there from Maraza Pollard.
Feel the wind of that going by, man. Do not want to get into a slugfest with this guy.
Double forearm guard against the cross. Roundhouse kick off the back leg. Jab from Maraza Pollard. Evades the leg kick. Slips the jab of Freitas.
Loading up. Going for a takedown. Check it out.
Single leg from Freitas. Said he wouldn't go to the ground with Maraza Pollard. We actually accused him of lying to us, Pat, twice yesterday.
Yes, I did.
And we've proven him to be a liar. He's got to the ground in the first round.
Yeah, his coach even came back in.
His coach came
after I
back
called
into
him
the
out.
room and said he's definitely going to stand and trade and knock him out on the feet. We are not going to go to ground, Pat, we promise. And what was it, 2 minutes into this fight? Hit the ground they go.
Yep.
We know your sneaky ways.
Ultimately, you got to look at him and go, look, we know you want the W. You want the win bonus. We know what's up.
It's very hard to pull one over a UFC Hall of Famer.
Pollard's got that lockdown technique on the leg of Freitas. Freitas trying to bend his knee and get it out of there. Best way to actually get out of that is get double underhooks on the guy, drop down to his legs, squeeze his legs together, and then just sprawl straight out of it. You're going to power out of it, through it.
Elbow there from Freitas. This one is set for 5 rounds. Still inside a half guard here, the Brazilian.
Pollard needs to figure out how to get back up. Don't want to carry this guy's weight for very long. Eventually he's going to advance position.
Body shots there and an elbow to the head from Gil Freitas. Nicely done from Freitas. Maraza Pollard just 1 submission win in 10. Freitas 2 in 17 only for the BJJ black belt.
Nasty body shots. Needs to get up. Gotta figure it out.
Freitas not allowing him up. Oh, big right hand, smack bang to the kisser.
Don't want to take too many of them. Nice, going for a key lock here. Freitas, beautiful transition to the knee bar.
Over. Wow, Gil Freitas taps out Maraza Pollard.
Beast on the ground.
What he promised he wouldn't do, he did. And it worked wonders for him.
De Freitas' reign on top would not last long, as 3 months later, Chris, the Action Man Curtis, would bring the title back to Ohio in impressive style.
It's Kevin McDonald. We are underway. The CES Welterweight title is on the line.
Curtis can box, I'm telling you.
Curtis in the all-red trunks and the blue glove tape. Gil Freitas in the red, white, and black and the red glove tape.
Freitas likes throwing that looping right hand, which is very dangerous for a southpaw. Curtis doing a good job. Threw the punch, moved the head, changed levels. Smart, because he knows something's coming back the other way, most likely.
Curtis continues to circle in the cage. He said he wants to avoid the big power of Freitas. He wants to work the body and break him down. I loved his quote, "Kill the body and the head will follow." We'll see if he can execute that tonight.
He will chop up the legs and go to the body.
Chris Curtis been training at Team Quest in California. The likes of Sam Alvey and Terry Sokaju. He came in extremely confident.
Yeah, he did.
I was very impressed.
He's using good feints and fakes right now, keeping Freitas definitely off balance. We saw this in Freitas' last fight until he got mad and smashed Pollard on the ground and took that knee bar. But Chris Curtis, a little more experienced, a little older, a little more mature than Pollard.
This is Gil Freitas' first title defense. Big kick from the champion.
To the left side of the body, though, that generally won't hurt you because the liver's on the right side. So, I mean, generally you can take punches and kicks to that side of your body, the left side all day long, and it doesn't even bother you.
Gil Freitas trying to find that range now, moving in.
Nice hook.
Slick hook from Chris Curtis. Oh, felt the breeze from that miss.
Curtis knew to get out of dodge, skated out of there nicely. Nice. Look at that, he's gone. Freitas not moving his feet. Curtis a little better footwork, able to get out of the way of most of the stuff.
Curtis will fire, and then like you said, Pat, he moves out. Just misses with the uppercut there. Body shot from Freitas. And another big right blocked from Curtis, though.
Nice.
Freitas continues to unload that big right.
Every punch he throws is with bad intentions, but he telegraphs quite a bit. Curtis is going to lean outside of that left hand and come back with his, or that right hand and come back with his own left. Watch it happen eventually here. He's going to try and set it up. He's been leaning and going underneath it. He's waiting to figure out the timing on it. So what's going on? See, yep.
Again. Gerald Freitas unloading now. Chris Curtis could be in trouble. Up against the cage, but comes back.
He's stuck him.
Nice uppercut. Now Curtis goes to work.
Freitas is hurt bad.
Freitas goes down. Chris Curtis looking to finish it, and that is all. Chris Curtis with a very impressive finish. He is your CES Welterweight champion. Hello, Chris Curtis.
Curtis would go on to successfully defend the title 3 times before vacating the championship for an opportunity for a UFC contract on the Contender Series. So as CES MMA made its debut in the city of brotherly love in Philadelphia on August 17, 2018, Jeremiah Wells fought Scott Norwood to crown a new king of the welterweight division.
He's the favorite at -300 and comes out flying. Norwood in the red shorts, Wells in the black.
Oh, stuck him with that right hand right off the bat.
Wells said that Norwood has never faced a power puncher like me. He wants to stay unpredictable.
Wow, just ran him over like a truck there. He just kept driving.
Power of 34-year-old Jason Norwood. Brown belt BJJ, wrestled in college at West Point.
Graduate of West Point, tells you he's no dummy.
He's also part of the All-Army wrestling team in Fort Carson, Colorado, where he did some training with the Olympic hopefuls in Colorado Springs. So now Jeremiah Wells back up.
Key lock here. Let's see if we can get that arm to pop. Nice job. But he let go of it. And Norwood recognized him letting go of it and popped back on that leg. I'm wondering if he's going to start throwing hacking elbows. Norwood, nice job, belly down.
No panic from Jason Norwood.
He just knows where daylight is, all those years of wrestling. Wells is carrying a bigger man's weight right now. He's got to stop doing that somehow. He's got to be able to get back to his feet and stop this, because he is dealing with a very strong guy on top of him, and that will wear you down.
Especially when you are scheduled for 5 rounds.
5 grinding, miserable rounds if you can't stop it.
And for a long night. Norwood sneaks an elbow through.
Norwood doing a good job of trying to be punishing here. Keeping the pressure on Wells. Wells turning on his side, I think, might be a mistake. He needs to get squared back up. He's trying to come back up, but Norwood popping that arm out from underneath him. See if he reaches and grabs that ankle. Surprised he's not dropped that left arm to grab the ankle yet.
Norwood continuing to grind away. But described Wells' style as very unorthodox and very random.
Well, I would say with the start of the fight being a flying front kick.
It's a little random.
Yeah.
Norwood said, my orthodox has to be perfect to beat his randomness.
Yeah.
Wells looking for a neck. There is no neck, Mr. Wells.
That's so true.
I'm saying, if you get a choke on Norwood, you've done something pretty spectacular.
I think Jeremiah Wells realized that. Needs to get back up on his feet.
Wells fighting hard to stay up there. Going for the neck again. I'll tell you what, he's got it tight. He's got it tight.
Jeremiah Wells.
Nice job, stepping to the side and cradling him back. That's the best way to get out of that. Textbook.
He had the opportunity, but Norwood powers through. Under a minute to go in round one.
Norwood needs to do some punishing stuff here. Really needs to land some leather, some elbows.
Wells, 2 of his 5 victories coming by way of submission.
Wells, nice job kicking those legs out from underneath Norwood.
Norwood's corner asking him to keep firing at the body.
Wells using his legs well. Good butterfly guard.
Clock ticks down and round number 1 comes to an end. The CES welterweight strap on the line. Title vacated by Chris Curtis, giving the opportunity now for Jason Norwood. Gets a mulligan. This is his 2nd title shot in a row. And that man, Jeremiah Wells.
Look at me. He's going higher than
Wells early on throwing that right hand, just shaves the beard there of Jason Norwood. And there's the key lock, goes to hit the roll through. And Norwood, as soon as that leg or arm is released, latches right back onto that leg and eventually goes belly down, where he kept Wells the rest of the round.
Whistle sounds and the UFC Hall of Famer gives that first round to Jason Norwood.
Hold on.
Got it.
Close the door.
Well, I'm disagreeing with you. I'm giving it to Wells. Submission attempts and did more damage
Okay,
standing.
second round. Let's go, gentlemen.
He landed one shaving punch standing. What are you talking about?
And now, what? Had somebody in my ear. What did you say?
He landed one shaving punch while standing.
Exactly. But it was damage. And now
God.
comes in with a knee.
Wow.
To Jeremiah Wells, as athletic as they come.
Look at the muscles exerting between these two. Wow. Look at him driving through that.
And people on Twitter can't believe that Kruk and Miletich actually disagreed once. All heck's breaking loose.
We still love each other.
Well, we'll see.
Sorta.
He stopped shaking my head.
Norwood locked his hands.
You lose a point next time.
Mergliata warning.
Norwood.
Yep.
Norwood worked a lot to get that takedown. How much gas did that come out of his tank there? Both guys.
Norwood does have pretty impressive cardio. And now Wells back on his feet.
Nice knee.
Tries to slip an elbow through, but Norwood just all over him.
Oh.
Can't create any distance.
Nice. Wells gaining confidence here.
See a little damage under the left eye of Jason Norwood.
Wonder if that's from that flying knee. That was a beautiful technique.
Sure was.
Gotta keep busy, guys. Gotta keep busy.
Norwood needs to be working a lot more knees in there, elbows. Turning this into a street fight. There's the uppercuts. That's what he needs to do.
Norwood countering the knees from Wells with the uppercuts. Midway through round 2, we are scheduled for 5. The CES Welterweight World Championship fight.
Finally, Wells breaks free.
Wells with the opportunity to showcase his striking now. Finally getting some distance, but it's Norwood who comes in fire.
Exploding. Oh, big uppercut.
2 minutes to go.
He's trying to get a takedown on Norwood.
We're going to cage.
Dan Mergliotta.
Getting a little angry.
Don't mess with Big Dan. So let go of that cage.
Wow.
Wells ends up on top. Norwood struggling to keep him close. Fans sensing an opportunity for Philly's Jeremiah Wells. Oh, look at the power of Norwood.
Jeremiah Wells, good job getting double unders here.
Minute to go in round 2.
Let's go, guys. Gotta keep busy. They gotta work. I'll stand you up.
Mergliotta threatens to stand him up.
All right, quick. Gotta keep busy. Let's go.
Like it.
Let's go.
Exactly.
Hands up, hands up, hands up.
And this stand-up definitely benefits Jeremiah Wells. Under 30 to go, second round.
This place is gonna explode if Wells pulls off a knockout.
You're not kidding, Pat.
Oh.
Home cage advantage going to Jeremiah Wells. And Norwood ends up on his back.
Slipping from that head kick.
And round number 2 comes to a close.
Chaos.
Absolute chaos. Back and forth between Wells and Norwood. Let's check out the action.
Flying knee there. I don't know if it landed really on the knee or the thigh. Happened so dang quick. See Norwood going down here. Wells sliding to the mount. Going for a key lock here, getting off to the side. Norwood knows it's go time. Climbing along that cage with the feet. And reversing position. Kick landed, he just slipped.
And came down hard on his back.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like Charlie Brown missing the field goal and ending up right on his back. This time Miletich gets it right and gives it to Jeremiah
thanks.
Wells.
That's very kind of you.
The opening round was anybody's. That is for
All right,
sure.
let's go, gentlemen.
Ready for the start of round 3. Jason Norwood in the red trunks and Jeremiah Wells in the black, fighting for the CES welterweight strap.
Oh.
All right, let's check in with Phoenix, who was in Jason Norwood's corner.
They want him to have more cage control and stay on his wrestling. That's pretty much it.
Okay, back to action here in the 3rd round.
Norwood got to punch his way in, got to figure out how to cover that gap and survive while doing so. Wells pull the trigger at any time.
Wells made his amateur debut, excuse me, his pro debut in 2012, went 6-1 as an amateur. His pro wins, he's been to decision only once. Norwood has 7 decisions.
Liver kick. He's huffing and puffing a little bit there. Oh!
Nasty head kick, just misses from Jeremiah Wells.
That was a heater.
2 powerful welterweights. And Wells gets a nice takedown.
Hard landing. Nice taking advantage of that. Here comes a big left elbow if he gets right hand on that wrist.
And that's what Wells' corner is yelling for. They probably heard you, Pat.
Starting to work. I'm having trouble breaking free from those pythons Norwood calls arms.
Norwood definitely has got the big guns. And there's the sneaky elbow and forearm from Wells. Oh, that
right
one.
on the jaw. Pressure on the neck.
Wells seems to be wearing down Jason Norwood.
Working his way to half guard here.
Nobody tougher, though, than Jason Norwood.
Dan Margliata has been on Norwood the entire fight about grabbing the cage with his fingers and toes. More pressure with the forearm on the throat. Wells, good explosive shots.
Oh, Jeremiah Wells in this 3rd round.
Jeremiah Wells trying to get that leg out of there. Nice job.
Pat, what would you like to see Norwood do?
Well, he's got to reverse this position without a doubt. Block an arm and a leg, hit a roll, get back to half guard, then full guard, work back up to his feet.
So right now, Jeremiah Wells teeing off. He can create some distance. Look out.
Norwood could work out of there. His legs are doing nothing right now. He's preoccupied with just holding this young man tight to him so he can't build any power up on his shots.
Under a minute to go, 3rd round. Of course, we are scheduled for 5. Main event here at CES 52.
Great bite on the legs as Wells. Smart, anchoring himself in there.
Jason Norwood just unable to reverse position and get off his back. This was a big round for Jeremiah Wells.
It is.
And Wells putting the hand over the face and nose, mouth, and
He's allowed
nose.
to cover your mouth.
Jason Norwood did not appreciate that.
Dan Margliata, to hear him go, he's allowed to cover your mouth.
Of course, Big Dan breaking it down. Nothing gets by him.
You're gonna knock him
The
out.
corner's going to work on the fighters as we check out their action in the
Nice
3rd
job
round.
snatching that leg and then hitting the takedown. Power slam. Drove right through it. Nice elbows, brutal elbows there. Doing a good job with the ground and pound. Good crisp shot there.
Great shot by our crew there.
Yeah, cameraman doing a great job.
Norwood had enough of those. No question that was all Jeremiah Wells' round. And we check in with Phoenix, who was in his corner.
I was in Wells' corner, and they want movement. They need him to move his feet. They want to see that exceptional striking that he does have. And they want him to post his hands on his face.
Championship rounds underway. Jason Norwood in the red and Jeremiah Wells in the black.
Wells, to his credit, being a little bit cautious about just going crazy with his striking because of the wrestling ability of Norwood. Doesn't want to give up a takedown. That hit the top of Norwood's head. I don't know who got the worst of that, whether it was Wells' hand or Norwood's head.
Keep an eye on that. And again, Norwood is able to Wells pushed Norwood onto his back.
Yeah, he caught that kick and threw the punch at the same time.
It's impressive.
Blasted Norwood off his feet.
And not the spot that Jason Norwood wants to be.
Keep your hands away from his eyes.
We're used to seeing Norwood on top of these positions in his fights. Quite a change of scenery here. Wells responsible for that, of course.
Jason Norwood, an extremely tough man to finish. Had an 11-fight win streak from 2008 to 2010. But he's 3-2 in his last 5.
Keep your fingers away from his eyes. We're not going to warn you again.
Wells better watch that second warning from Big Dan about the fingers towards the eyes.
Norwood said he poked me in the eye, and Dan said he didn't poke you in the eye. Norwood got to get that guard back.
If Wells is able to posture up, look out. Continuing to just hammer at the face of Jason Norwood.
Keep fighting, let's go.
Good shots by Wells. Good power.
Oh, man, right on that eye. Might close up the left eye of Norwood midway through the 4th round, scheduled for 5, and the Philadelphia fans cheering on Jeremiah Wells.
Daniel Gracie giving instructions to Wells.
More elbows from Jeremiah Wells.
Very effective.
And it's been the theme of this fight so far. Wells going for his 3rd straight CES victory, but most importantly, trying to capture that vacant welterweight strap. Daniel Gracie, as you mentioned, Pat, in Jeremiah Wells' corner.
Doing a lot of talking.
Asking him to stay busy.
Come on, guys, you got to work. You can't just lay on. Keep busy.
At this point, I expect Big Dan to stand these guys up. More forearms and elbows delivered by Wells.
That elbow hurt.
In complete control of this fight now.
That elbow, that last elbow, I'm telling you, was brutal. Right on the mouth. He split him open. Mouth is bleeding. Those will knock your teeth out.
Corner yelling for Wells to punch the nose. Man, I I'd love to know how many elbows he's landed in this fight. Forearms and elbows been the key.
Not enough to end it yet, anyway.
Well, that is true. And as we said, nobody's tougher than Jason Norwood. Clock ticking down to end round number 4. And Jeremiah Wells is in cruise control. Tough couple of rounds for Jason Norwood.
Yeah. Compliments of Mr. Wells.
And the ringside doctor is going to take a look at the face of Jason Norwood
Watch
as
him
we
catch
check
this
out the
kick.
action.
Snatches the kick, goes the right hand right at the right time and drops Jason Norwood. And there's some big right hands coming down. Landing hard on Norwood's temple. There they are. And then also adding a brutal elbow straight down into the mouth. Jason Norwood, he felt that. You can see him move to defend himself.
Guys, right here. Let me get this right here.
Fighters are ready for the 5th and final round. CES Welterweight title on the line. Jason Norwood needs to do something spectacular because Jeremiah Wells
5th and final round.
is in control of this fight. 5 minutes to go before one of these men walk away with the vacant strap.
Norwood knows he's got to get a finish. He has to know that.
He's been able to do it before. 5 knockouts, 6 submission victories. And we check in with Phoenix, who was in Norwood's corner.
I was in Norwood's corner, but I really couldn't hear much. The only thing I did see was that the doctor was really taking a look at that eye, and he basically, Jason got super nervous because he thought that the doctor was going to stop it. And he was like, no, you're good to go.
Thank you, Phoenix. Yeah, he was taking a close look. And now Wells knocks Norwood down again. And ends up in the same dominant position he's been in throughout this fight.
Big elbows coming.
You know, if he continues to tee off, you gotta wonder if you just throw in the towel.
Right.
Because Jason Norwood, he won't tap. The Army Major who served in Iraq in 2008 to 2010. One of the toughest fighters you'll ever see. But it's all Jeremiah Wells in this one.
After the first round, Wells took over. Daniel Gracie saying we need to create the space to throw your elbows. Oof.
Fighters right in front of us.
Driving him over to the cage. Daniel Gracie telling him to pin his head against the cage and then posture up and start unloading. Very composed corner over here.
Gracie's doing. They appreciated that shot from Wells.
Oh, man.
This is difficult to watch now.
Some power coming out of Wells, buddy. This young man is explosive in tight spaces.
More elbows raining down from Jeremiah Wells.
Get your toes out of the fence. Get your toes out of the fence.
Leota pulls Norwood's toes out of the
If you
fence.
put your toes in the fence again, I'm going to take a point away. Don't put your toes in the fence.
Threatens to take a point away.
Get your toes out of the fence.
You know, I think he's saying to himself, I'm losing this fight anyway. What's the point if I can reverse position?
I think you're right. 2 minutes to go in the 5th and final round.
If I'm Jason Norwood, I know what I'm thinking. Take a point.
Yeah. Norwood going for the finish. Said he wanted the knockout, but knew it was going to be very difficult against Jason Norwood. Gracie saying to Wells, let him go, start firing down.
Yeah. Wells, you can tell he wants this belt badly. Dan's ignoring the toes in the cage now because Norwood's getting pounded, but he's not doing anything any good.
Oh, and now Norwood is cut open.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
Hungry got it close to stopping it, I think.
I think it would be justified. Just Jason Norwood's been on his back, getting pummeled for the last 3 rounds. You just don't want to see him take any more damage.
No. He's proven how tough he is.
Without a doubt, and sometimes that can be a detriment. Under 30 to go. And Wells continuing to work. Now taking the back of Norwood. Well, Norwood's going to feel it tomorrow, but Wells' elbows and forearms are going to be sore as well. All Jeremiah Wells. And finally, the bell sounds. And the fans appreciate the effort from Jeremiah Wells, Philadelphia's own, and a beaten and bloody Jason Norwood, as game as anyone. But it was all Jeremiah Wells tonight.
Wow. Came on strong after that first round and dominated. Taking down the wrestler, putting him on his back, controlling it, punishing him.
Gonna hold your pants up nice.
A man known as Righteous, not only his nickname, but his actual middle name, Jason Norwood.
Punches. Gets the takedown. And just some brutal ground and pound here out of Wells.
You bet.
Apparently the people in the truck are so sadistic that they hadn't seen enough of it.
Yes.
Oof. Not a lot of people would have hung around and take that kind of punishment. No. Tough character.
No.
Wells, hungry young man.
That was all Jeremiah Wells. As the corners go to work on Jason Norwood, the judges' scorecards are in. So we are now going to send it up for the official announcement from Adam Palazzo.
Fight fans, both these fighters deserve a warm round of applause. After 5 rounds, we go to the scorecards. Judge Urso, Coldflesh, and Munsky scored the fight 49-45 and 49-46 for your winner by unanimous decision and new champion from Philadelphia, Jeremiah Wells.
Jeremiah Wells earns gold in only his 8th professional fight.
On March 29th, 2019, Wells made his way to the Connecticut Convention Center in Hartford, Connecticut to defend his title. But that night saw another title change. And where we leave you tonight as Vinicius de Jesus wins the welterweight title from Jeremiah Wells at CES MMA 55. Thank you for joining us at the CES MMA Watch Party. I'm Adam Palazzo. Please join us again. And Mike Parenti has one eyebrow.
Protection, as well as the Connecticut State Police. Commissioner James C. Ravella Administrator cage side, Detective Mark Langlis. Your judges tonight have been Dave Peabody, Sue Sanadid, John English, and Doug Crosby. Your physicians cage side have been Dr. Michael Schwartz and Dr. Samantha Dane. This is the Team Gotti bout of the evening. Stay tuned for upcoming news on the return of John Gotti III right here in this cage. The following fight is scheduled for 5 5-minute rounds and is for the World Welterweight Title. Introducing first, the challenger, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the black and blue trunks. He weighed in at 170 pounds. His pro record, 7 wins, 2 losses, with 3 victories by knockout and another 2 by submission. Hailing from Brazil, ladies and gentlemen, Vinicius de Jesus. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, the champion, wearing the black and white trunks. He weighed in at 170 pounds. His pro record, 6 wins, 1 loss, with 2 victories by knockout and another 2 by submission. Hailing from the fighting city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, ladies and gentlemen, the world champion, Jeremiah Wells. Your referee is Mr. Kevin McDonald.
Fighters to the center, please. Fighters to the center. All right, gentlemen, this is 5 rounds of the unified rules of mixed martial arts for the belt. We went over those rules in the back. I want a good, clean fight. If you'd like, you can touch gloves now. Otherwise, return to your corner. Come out ready.
Quick touch of the gloves, and we are ready for our main event here at CES MMA 55, live from the Connecticut Convention Center. Michael Parenti joined by Filthy Tom Lawler and Paige Monroe, bringing you all the action cage side. This one should be as good as advertised, Tom.
Should be awesome. I can't wait for this bell to ring.
I don't think either can Jeremiah Wells, who's just been steady, ready to pounce out of his corner. Round number 1 underway.
De Jesus is taking the center, beating him to the center of the cage. At least for a second.
Wells in the black and white trunks, De Jesus in the black trunks with the gold and blue decals.
Yeah, Wells training out of Renzo Gracie, Philly, while De Jesus trains at Renzo Gracie in New York.
So all branches of Renzo Gracie represented here tonight in the main event.
Very well represented.
All up the East Coast, some of the best schools to train out of and fight out of, and certainly these fighters have shown what kind of tutelage they get inside those doors.
De Jesus also training at his own place, Gravity De Jesus Martial Arts, and Heavy Hitters Boxing as well.
Quick little jab there by Wells, catches De Jesus on the way in. 1 minute into this scheduled 5-round bout for the CES MMA World Welterweight Championship.
Wells constantly changing stance here as he tries to move side to side against the cage. But De Jesus cutting him off. Good low kick as Wells leaped in with the left hook. A lot of tension in the air here. Not quite sure we could cut it with a knife at this point.
Crowd just anticipating something big from 2 guys who are known for being heavy hitters. And it's almost every time you see Wells fight, you're just waiting for him to pounce. You just expect him to explode at any moment's notice. We've seen it. We've seen that explosive power on display. We've also seen him grind out wins like he did over Jason Norwood. So a lot up the sleeve for Jeremiah Wells, who can beat you in a number of ways, as we've seen. Also has 2 wins by rear naked choke, so he can submit, he can go the distance, he can go the 5, he can knock you out. And he can also back you against the cage, as he does to De Jesus here, halfway through round number 1.
Bull rushed him in, now he's looking for this double leg. De Jesus working on that right wrist of Wells, stopping the attack, or stifling it at least for a second. strategic battle. Wells using that left underhook, but not really pushing the pace, keeping his hips back. A little bit, just kind of riding out the position.
Yeah, it's been a real feeling out process in this opening round, both in the center of the cage and now with Wells having De Jesus kind of pinned against the cage.
Yeah, referee Kevin McDonald watching real closely, but you know, he's one of the best guys in the game, so. You can see Wells has the body lock. He has his hands locked, although his left arm is up in a position where he can't necessarily control the hips of De Jesus to get the takedown. De Jesus using a nice strong whizzer. Wells walks his hips in so he doesn't get thrown. And just holds the position.
Stomps on that foot.
You ever stubbed your toe really bad?
Exactly what that feels like, right?
Yeah. Turf toe.
Can be one of those minor annoyances that just creeps up during the course of a big fight. Just throws you off the game a little bit. 1:16 to go here in the opening round of this scheduled 5-round bout. Jeremiah Wells, the defending world champion, taking on Vinicius De Jesus, the challenger, looking for the opportunity of a lifetime here at CES 55.
Wells shook his arms out there when they separated. Maybe holding on too hard up against the cage there. Got a little fatigue. De Jesus happily takes the center of the cage once again like he did at the beginning. Wells chambers that back leg. Oh, and there's a spinning kick.
There it was. He was setting up for it, Tom. I could see it. He found his moment and landed right to the chest and just knocks De Jesus down. De Jesus pops back up. Probably the most significant blow landed by either fighter here with 32 seconds. That could steal you around.
Yeah, I believe it knocked him off balance. I couldn't really tell by the replay, but definitely effective in the eyes of the judges nonetheless.
In a round where not much action is going on and no fighter to really establish an edge, that could be a difference maker, and you get a long way to go here with 4 more scheduled.
Looked like he was going to go for it again, start pawing out with that left hand. That allows him to turn in that direction and get that back leg going.
Final 10 seconds, and that's the bell. So 1 round in the books, good strong round for Jeremiah Wells. Both fighters seem content, just kind of feeling each other out. Wells lands that nice spinning back at the end of the round. Really telegraphed it perfectly, landed it effectively.
The story of the night. Who do you give that round to?
Right. I go with the, hey listen, I go to the one shot that to me makes a difference, the one that puts De Jesus down, even if he just sort of momentarily lost his balance, is the one that gets the difference for me. I think Wells just did a little bit more of the aggressor, also bull rushed De Jesus into the corner at one point midway through the round, so you just saw a little bit there from the repertoire. Wells not unleashing it all just yet, kind of storing a little bit on the inside, maybe just waiting to let it go in the second and third. Here's a quick replay.
There we go,
and there it is.
That back kick. Caught him in the arms.
Yeah, caught him in the arm.
Yeah.
Not really quite flush on the chest, but nonetheless, De Jesus not really ready for it, not expecting it, and almost sort of backing up as he threw it.
Definitely the coolest move of the round.
For sure. So a good solid start for the champion, Jeremiah Wells, as we go into round number 2 of this scheduled 5-round bout.
De Jesus refused to take the stool.
A little bit cheesemo. You do what you can. And there's the bell, round number 2. Michael Parenti joined by Filthy Tom Lawler and Paige Monroe. Cage side for CES MMA 55, brought to you by Modelo, live from the Hartford Convention Center. And now Wells with the knockdown.
Well, De Jesus threw a head kick, threw a right head kick, and that's what allowed Wells to kind of close the distance and basically knock him off balance in order to get this takedown here. But
trying to pick him up and slam him, but yeah, he couldn't. De Jesus strong. Those strong roots planted firmly on the canvas, not letting Wells pick him up and slam him. So Wells lets go, and they get back into the center of the cage.
De Jesus once again backs Wells up. It's Wells that's left moving laterally, side to side up against the cage, while De Jesus walks him down.
De Jesus again gets spun around, Tom, second time in this fight.
He went to the body with a punch, and he left himself open on that side, and Wells was able to lock up the body lock, and now here he has him down on the ground. But I've got to think De Jesus' defense is going to be top-notch, being a second-degree black belt. Big punch there by Wells.
Wells got the takedown, but both guys popped to their feet pretty quickly. Now Wells back in his comfort zone on his feet.
Yeah, backed himself up to the cage here. So I've got to wonder now if there's something strategically that Wells is trying to key off of, something that he saw, because he had a chance to take the center of the cage. He had a chance to control the distance, and he chose to move to the back.
Interesting strategy here by the champ.
Oh, eye poke, I believe.
I think Wells got poked in the left eye.
Not sure if you can see referee Kevin McDonald. It's probably better off for him.
Jesus gets a little bit of a warning from Kevin McDonald. And Wells gets a few seconds to just collect his breath.
Looks to be ready to go.
Get your legs back. We saw it really, I thought, help Spicely in his bout when he got that eye poke, and he was a little unsettled at that time in the fight. Then came out a different fighter after that, so sometimes that can be an advantage. 3:18 to go, round number 2 of a scheduled 5.
Jesus missed with that huge overhand right.
Looks like he might have ate a short right too on the way in.
Definitely ate some punches there.
Yeah, Wells starting to pick up the pace a little bit.
DeJesus fights off the takedown. Good underhooks, tries to throw a knee on the exit.
I feel like this may be a slow release approach by Wells, just unleashing a little bit at a time here, not emptying the entire bag in the first round.
It's pulsing his offense.
That's the way just exactly as I was gonna say. 2:41 to go in round number 2. Michael Parenti joined by Tom Lawler and Paige Monroe. Cage side of the Connecticut Convention Center. Historic night of mixed martial arts in Connecticut. We're capping it off with our title bout main event.
Solid low leg kick there. You can see wobble the leg of Wells. Wells fires back with one up top of his own. Back on his horse. Switches stance. Yeah, that one leg kick may have done the job there. May have been just enough. Nice kick up the middle by DeJesus. Looks like he's setting up that back kick again. Well, and DeJesus fires one off.
Just narrowly misses.
Nice low kick, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him go back to this.
Both fighters emptying the playbook here in round 2, trying to establish a little bit more of a pace than in round 1. Still a very tough round to score, Tom.
Yeah, DeJesus controlling the action. I feel at least in the latter part of this round, definitely. After that leg kick, it seems like he's been the one in control. Don't forget, he did eat a big punch up against the cage earlier on. Ate a combination up against the far cage earlier, so Wells with his moments so far in this round. But minute left, and hey, I'd say it's anybody's round at this point.
I agree. Someone here can let it go, let their hands go, get a big takedown. This could sway the judges in one direction or another, and that's sometimes all you need. It's all about finishing strong that last minute of 30 seconds. And we'll see if the corners instruct both fighters to do the same. 35 to go.
DeJesus staying very, very composed. You know, Wells is moving around a lot of lesser fighters would probably rush in, get frustrated, but
he's just cutting the cage off calmly, effectively. Into the midsection. It's probably been DeJesus' best weapon is that kick to the midsection, Tom, in the second round.
Yeah, and if I were him, I'd go back to the low kick now. You know, you've shown a couple of those kicks up the middle, go back low, catch him off guard, or come back up high. You know? Change the levels.
Round number 2 in the books. Wells, like you said, backpedaling a lot in this round, fighting against the cage. Interesting strategy. We wonder, anyway, if it is strategic or not, but nonetheless, that one in the books. Tough, close round to score. Not sure how that goes. Maybe this could be an even fight going into round 3, depending on how the judges saw it, at least with DeJesus, and with his aggression, maybe can win him the points on the scorecard.
DeJesus pushing the water bottle out of the way as his cornerman tried to give it to him. He's not taking the stool. He's staring down Wells, has not taken his eyes off him, has not blinked. Look at him.
he's ready to go here. He is, I think, playing a psychological game to some degree with his opponent, and that can be something that plays a factor when you get into those late championship rounds, Tom. Your opponent steers across the cage. You're still standing up. You're jumping. You're leaping. You seemingly are in it. You're not winded. If your opponent's there kind of sucking wind on the stool, you never know how that can work out. It can play to your favor sometimes, I think, mentally. But Wells is a tough fighter, too, and not one to really get deterred or get unnerved, so.
Jesus was scaring me there with that stare.
And we're not even fighting, we're sitting cage side, so I only wonder what Wells is thinking.
Feel very uneasy.
Round number 3, the Brazilian bad boy, Vinicius de Jesus, challenging Jeremiah Wells for the CES MMA World Welterweight Championship. Wells' corner urging him to start moving a bit. We'll see if Wells is a little bit more aggressive in this round. And maybe, Tom, that second round was somewhat of a feeling out process as well to see if he can find an opening and maybe exploit it later in the fight.
Jesus just went back to that low kick once again. Sneaks that jab through. The more low kicks he lands, the less lateral movement Wells is going to have. And there's another one, not checked. Got to be careful, though, just throwing that kick out there unprotected. You got to throw some hands in front of it, get him thinking.
Lands the third one. You got to wonder now if Wells is a little bit hesitant from those leg kicks. More or less has the same effect of a stiff jab in boxing, where you just keep your opponent at bay and sort of stop the onslaught. But Wells comes right back.
Yeah, but De Jesus, I think, may have landed a short left in there as well.
I think he got the better of that
counter.
exchange. Minute and a half into this third round. 5 rounds scheduled for the World Welterweight Championship. High kick just grazes the chin of De Jesus.
Yeah, a lot of feinting here. Back to that leg kick. Another one as Wells stepped in there and tried to close the distance. Fancy footwork here for both guys.
Some signs of life, at least, finally in this third round. The action hasn't been quite as hot and heavy as I think I thought it would be coming in, but now De Jesus.
Wells.
Oh, another eye poke.
About his eye again.
No, Kevin McDonald says no, let's go.
Nah, man, that was a punch.
Was Wells trying to buy some time?
I don't know, sometimes the edge of the glove gets in there, you know, there's some cloth, even though it's a punch. Tough to tell.
You always wonder when gamesmanship comes into play in these title fights.
He's firing back, so
yeah,
clearly it's not too bad.
Trying to land that overhand right. Nice spinning kick upstairs.
Just outside, but he lands that low kick right afterwards.
Nice follow.
Yeah, get him thinking about that left side, or I'm sorry, the right side of his body.
Jesus looks sharp. He sneaks in that left jab, backs up effectively, avoids the right counter by Wells. I think doing a nice job over these last 2 rounds, really setting pace. I kind of wonder what Wells' strategy is here. Not as aggressive as we've seen him in the past. And maybe just not seeing what he needs to see to let it go yet. And maybe, like you said, it's just De Jesus and the way he's controlling the cage. Not getting too freaked out, so to speak, by Wells' constant movement. And maybe that's kind of playing a factor into Wells' approach.
Well, this fight's been primarily just played out on the feet, you know, and I'm not quite sure if you're Wells, if you want to take the fight to the ground, but without that threat, you know, De Jesus is able to kind of just chip away with strikes, hit the leg, land some jabs, keep Wells backing up. There's been very little to almost no threat of the takedown from either guy.
No.
And just some level changes, some feints.
Nice right hand by Wells on the way out. That one caught De Jesus a bit. We'll definitely need more of that going forward.
A low kick from Wells.
Yeah. And you're right, I think at some point there's a good time for a takedown. Not quite sure the guy wants it, though. Maybe this is the pace they want to establish.
Here we go, another low kick from De Jesus. Spinning back fist off of a spinning back kick attempt. And, you know, Mike, we were just talking about there hasn't been a whole ton of grappling. Look at these guys. I'm not sure they can even hold on to each other with the way that they're sweating.
The bright lights of CES MMA. Wearing both guys down here as we get through the third round of a scheduled 5.
Yep.
Tom, we're now getting into those championship rounds of a very close fight. I think it's very tough to score. I think if I had to make an educated guess, I've got De Jesus with the last 2 rounds, but you never know what those scorecards say. I just feel like he's controlled the pace. I haven't seen Wells really be the aggressor or try to take over the center of the cage.
De Jesus moved his cornermen out of the way so that Wells could see him staring at him. He pushed him, physically pushed them out of the way so that he could stare at his opponent.
This is the gamesmanship I'm telling you about, Tommy. He wants him, like you said, to see him from across that cage, not sitting down, not taking the stool. He's staring directly across the cage, staring through steel at this point if he has to get to Jeremiah Wells. Wells obviously not paying much attention to him and just listening to his corner. You gotta wonder what his corner says. Now, if you're Wells, what's the approach here? Because you could be down in the fight, your title could be on the line. Do you maybe need to sell out and go for that takedown? Maybe it's not your best strategy, but you need something to score some points and just maybe stop De Jesus in his tracks a bit, because he's not going to see it coming.
Yeah, I don't think you necessarily sell out for the takedown, but I think you have to add in some feints and some attempts at the takedown. You know, don't put all your eggs into that basket, but make him respect something else so that you can come back with some strikes or land the takedown and get on top.
Round 4 of a scheduled 5 in the main event here at CES MMA 55. Michael Parenti joined by Tom Lawler and Paige Monroe. We are cage side at the Hartford Convention Center.
So now, let's take a look. Wells has switched his stance. It looks like he's going to stay in this southpaw stance. And as De Jesus came in with the low kick, Wells came over the top of the punch. So maybe this was the game plan all along. Maybe the coaches saw something in those past rounds that they think they can exploit standing southpaw. Or maybe he can't move his left leg.
That's also a strong possibility. May explain the southpaw switch. We'll see if Wells stays with it the entire round.
Able to sneak that jab through, though.
Yeah, flipping that right jab. But in order to make that effective, Tom, you got to counter, and that's the thing. It's what you got to see a jab followed by a left. Right now, it's just jab, jab, jab with no real follow. And again, it's the same game plan here for Wells.
He's going for that short kick to the knee.
After taking one to the eye, he takes one downstairs. He's going to get some more time to recover. Oh, we'll see the replay of this one. It's always painful to watch, Tom. De Jesus with some momentum, and yep, on the way in. Right in the sweet spot. But De Jesus, listen, he's established a pretty good pace here in this fight. He's fighting from the center of the cage. Wells doing a lot of movement. Not wearing him down, not really unnerving him at any point in this fight. And I feel like De Jesus showing real good cage generalship, if you will. Just cutting off the cage, cutting off the angles nicely. Wells not really able to execute. I'm not really quite sure what the strategy of the game plan is. I think, like you said, maybe there's something in the bag that he's waiting to unload here in the last 2 rounds. But I think at some point probably has to do it quickly. So we are getting into those championship rounds, as they call them. Round 4 right now, and round 5 on deck if it gets that far.
Yeah, like I said, I think a few level changes. You see the feints here and a lot of movement, but it's not making De Jesus respect any of them. You know, he's just moving around for the sake of moving. There it paid off. Trying to loosen up.
Wells kind of dancing around the cage a bit.
Let's go for those short, like, stomp kicks to the knee. De Jesus going like old school Muay Thai style here, hands up, walk you down, throw a right hand.
Wells is somewhat, Tom, of a moving target, but DeJesus has landed cleanly, plenty throughout the fight, and he gets out quickly. Doesn't allow himself to get in those clinches, doesn't get hit on the way out. Done a nice job of just landing. Even if he's landing one at a time, he's landing and not going to get in the way out.
He's a moving target, but he's still the target.
Yeah.
Is the issue.
And that's the problem,
you know?
right.
I never got scared playing duck hunt because I knew that thing was going to shoot back at me.
2:15 to go in round number 4 of this scheduled 5-round world title bout here at CES 55.
You can see Wells doing a good job. I mean, he's moving I guess technically the wrong way into the power hand, but staying outside of the range. Oh, and he's able to land a nice short punch over the top after that missed kick. We saw that pay off for Bassett. You know, he missed that kick and landed the back fist. It's a good punch from Wells. DeJesus able to fire back as he closes the distance.
A couple of straight right hands by DeJesus on the way in. And again, gets out quickly, back to the center of the cage. It's where he's controlled the pace really for the last 2.5 rounds.
You can see when DeJesus, there wasn't much on that kick. When DeJesus wants to kind of close the distance, he'll go to that high guard and walk himself in, you know, rather than throwing a bunch of strikes and leaving himself open. Which, if you want to get into that close range, that's the way to do it. Don't throw a combination and leave yourself open for the counter right there. Get your guard high, get in there.
It would seem to me, Tom, that it's going to be difficult for Wells to win the fight fighting like this. And that's the biggest thing for me, is even if he lands effectively here and there, I still feel like DeJesus is getting the better of the exchanges, and he's more aggressive, and he's controlling the pace. You got to wonder if that approach changes now in round 5, and what the corner's telling them. Sometimes that can be a big factor. The corner might be giving the wrong advice.
Yeah, what I've heard out of that Wells corner so far was good. You know? They were kind of egging him on to change up his attack there at the beginning of this round. It was working as he had a switch stance.
24 seconds to go in the 4th round.
You see there, DeJesus wants to close the distance. So there, hands come up, they go down.
DeJesus just wants to draw him in and get some action going. Nice kick in the midsection. Striking that rib cage to end the 4th round. And again, more of the same in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. We're seeing Wells content with just fighting almost on the bicycle, so to speak, just circling that cage, and DeJesus keeping his composure. And again, surprisingly, nobody's shooting for a takedown. I would expect DeJesus to do it. And again, Tom, you've been on the watch the entire fight on the Vinicius DeJesus corner, and again, he's standing up just waiting for the 5th round.
He's got the best in-between round game I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, this is Hollywood, written all over. This is, you can't script this much better than DeJesus has done tonight. I
mean, if you're Wells' corner, you've got to tell him he needs to finish, right?
Yeah.
I've got to imagine he's been on his horse for 3 rounds in a row.
Yeah, I'm just not sure of the strategy, Tom. You know, and again, listen, I've never coached this sport at any level, and you fought it at the highest level possible. I think you and I kind of are on the same page there about the strategy from Wells. Is he waiting for something? Is there something there that he knows he can exploit?
You can't wait until the
last 5th round, right? You can't do that. So it would be kind of unless he's planning to write the most Hollywood ending possible. As we go into this 5th and final round, it's our main event here at CES 55. Michael Parenti, Tom Lawler, Paige Monroe. Wells opens with a nice little right hand over the top, just grazes DeJesus.
He's back in that southpaw stance.
Yeah.
DeJesus took 2 steps back. That may be the first time I've seen that this entire fight.
Yeah, it looks like Wells maybe coming forward a little bit more here. A little early to say. It's only 30 seconds in, but he does again tries to land that right again. But not setting it up with anything, and that's kind of the problem. He's just trying to unload that right hand from the hip. You see that nice kick there by Wells, you kind of like to see a follow, wouldn't you, Tom? Like the left kick follow with the right?
It's like he's still playing a counter game, even though he's the one throwing the strikes first. DeJesus is walking him down, and it's Wells that's having to answer back from the footwork. You know, it's not like he's the one pushing forward and has DeJesus on the defensive. Even when he's attacking, it's usually as a counter. Back to the leg kick. And you see Wells switch back. Switches back to the orthodox stance now. Big rear uppercut from Wells, but doesn't find its home.
Two-punch combo attempt, but neither punch lands.
Not very many straight punches, though.
No,
You know?
a lot of looping shots, hooks, overhand rights, but a few jabs mixed in, not enough to establish a pace. And certainly not enough to set up one of those counter punches that we've been sort of begging for this entire fight from Wells. Right to the ribcage by De Jesus with that midsection kick. Nicely done, nicely executed. 2:51 to go in this 5th and final round. De Jesus has seemingly fought the fight at his pace. Whether that translates to a win on the cards, we don't know.
Yeah, well, Wells needs to sell out here. I mean, if I'm him, I've got to go for the finish.
And I would agree with you on that. 2.5 to go here. The round is halfway over.
We don't know what the scorecards say, but sometimes you know.
We have a good idea at this point.
I've got to be thinking De Jesus is ahead.
And I wonder if Wells has realized the same or if his corner has realized the same. Just not seeing the sense of urgency. We didn't really see it in the third. You can kind of understand that maybe in the second round, but to not see it in the third and fourth.
Good kick to the body there by De Jesus.
Oh, maybe that's part of it. You know, every time he's tried to come forward, De Jesus has answered nicely, so maybe there's some hesitation on Wells' part. It's not strategic. It's just a result of what De Jesus has been able to do.
Low kicks, body kicks. But I mean, honestly, this is probably the best work he's done since the first round.
Spinning back fist by Wells, yeah.
And there's still a ton of speed on that. It's not as if he's slowed down, so the power to end this fight is still there. He's just got to uncork something as time goes down here.
It has been surprising, Tom, to see a fight featuring two fighters with a significant amount of submissions on their record with no real takedown attempts in this fight, especially over the last 3 rounds. It's been the exact same pace, exact same strategy.
As the fight wears on, too, you get more tired. It takes more energy to get that takedown. It's a little bit easier to stay here at a distance and not wear yourself out. And maybe each guy's strategy was to stay on the feet, Perhaps they both felt that they had the advantage. And so far, it's kind of just come down to tactics with De Jesus.
It's like Wells is setting up for that spinning back kick again, but unfortunately telegraphing it. Lands with the right. Vinicius connects him on the way in. Momentarily forces Wells to stumble to the canvas.
Yeah, probably more of an off balance shot there. Wells takes a look at the clock. He sees 30 seconds left. And now you've got to imagine he's going to try to empty that tank, empty that arsenal.
That's what we would expect anyway. You see Wells look up too at the clock.
Fire all the weapons at that armory.
That's it. This is the fight right here. 15 seconds to go. Let's see if Wells has anything left in the tank to keep that belt and bring it back to Philly.
Wells looking at the clock and backing up. Where's the urgency? Perhaps he thinks he's got it in the bag.
That's it. Final bell rings in a strange but interesting fight here in the main event at CES 55. Vinicius De Jesus on top of the cage. Wells looks a little bit gassed, but has his arms raised in victory. So both fighters expected their name to be on the scorecard at the end. But only one can get the W, Tom, so it'll be very interesting to see how this goes. I think De Jesus, in my opinion, won this fight going away, and I think it may be 4 rounds to 1. I think Wells maybe had his best round in the first and just not really doing enough over the final 4. But again, you just never know. I thought Hillary Rose maybe didn't come out on top against Rosa Acevedo, so we've been wrong before, could be wrong again here in this main event, but a very interesting strategy, and honestly, between you and I, not the fight we both expected.
No, a little bit more strategic than we thought. We thought that there'd be a lot of fireworks, a lot of bombs going in, and in that first round, Wells was able to, take control, kind of, but that was the best work that he did the entire fight. as we talked about, I think De Jesus pulled out those middle rounds.
Yeah.
I think he won those rounds in between the rounds. I think he won that with his mindset, the way he was staring down Jeremiah Wells and just basically walked him down the entire fight.
And he still hasn't taken the stool, Tom, just in case you haven't checked over in the corner. Still standing up, still walking like that stalking line in the zoo that's behind the cage. Looks like he could go another 5. He had a great fight tonight, and I think he had a good game plan. I think he was poised. I think he was controlled. Never got too excited. Sometimes, Tom, when you're fighting a guy like Wells who's doing what he's doing, you get frustrated. You just want to go in there and trade, and you do something stupid. You get yourself caught, and you get knocked out. But De Jesus never did that. Just stuck with the game plan. And I think in the end, it may be enough. We're going to see exactly how this one plays up. But a very interesting fight here in this main event. Could this be the end of Jeremiah Wells' winning streak? And could the belt be staying here in Connecticut when all is said and done? CES 55 bringing you an exciting night, an historic night of mixed martial arts here in Connecticut. And it ended with a bang in this 5-round world title fight, going all 5 rounds. I think, Tom, too, to some degree, having seen Wells knock people out, having seen Wells do some damage, we almost kind of come to expect it from him. But not tonight, and maybe that's part of the game plan, is to go in there with a bit of the unexpected. We're going to see how the judges saw it. Let's send it up to Adam Palazzo.
After 5 tough rounds, we go to the scorecard. Judge English scored the fight 49-46. Judge Peabody scored the fight 48-47. Judge Crosby scored the fight 49-46. For your winner by unanimous decision and new world champion, Vinicius De Jesus.
And as expected, Vinicius De Jesus gets the W. Let's send it over to Paige Monroe.
One more fight. Let's go make a rematch. Let's go make a rematch.
Congratulations on that big win. Tell us how you're feeling right now.
No, man, feel fucking awesome, porra. This is for you guys, you know, for my family, for my... Yes, man, Connecticut, you know, we thought we're gonna bring the title for Connecticut, and now he's here. I would really like to thank you, Jeremiah Wells. You know, it's not a belt that make you a champion. He's training hard every day. He's go training when you don't want to train. You know, so it's much more things that make you champions in life, and he's definitely a champion. You know, it's not because he don't wear a belt that means nothing.
That's amazing. Between each round, you never sat down, you never took water, you were always staring at your opponent. What was going on through your head?
Yeah, I keep focused from the beginning, getting here to the end. You know, I come here for one mission, and until the mission is not complete, I cannot lose my focus. And it's how I've been since I was 12 years old. And we want to go to the top, you know, and we're in the top now. And I will keep conquer to go higher and higher. This is just the beginning, guys!
Woo! Let's hear it for him.
Thank you, Connecticut! The champion is here, fucker! A todos mis latinos, somos todos latinos juntos. Muchas gracias a ustedes todos. Valeu, galera! Estamos aqui juntos, representando o Brasil e o Rio Grande do Sul. Sangue no olho, Stefan no walk. Let's go!